Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to Shloka Day. Today's Shloka is Shloka number 45 of chapter 18. Sve sve karmanya bhirataha
स्वे कर्मण्यभिरतः
samsiddhim labhate naraha
सिद्धिं लभते नरः
swakarma nirata siddhim
स्वकर्मनिरतः सिद्धिं
yatha vindati tachranu.
विन्दति तच्छृणु.
But forward meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sway, sway,
स्वे स्वे
each his own.
each his own.
Karmani,
कर्मणि
work.
work.
Abhirataha,
अभिरतः
following.
following.
Samsiddhim,
संसिद्धिं
perfection.
perfection.
Labhate,
लभते
achieves.
achieves.
Naraha,
नरः
a man.
a man.
Swakarma,
स्वकर्म
in his own duty.
in his own duty.
Nirataha,
निरतः
engaged.
engaged.
Siddhim,
सिद्धं
perfection.
perfection.
Yatha,
यथा
as.
as
Vindati,
vindati
attains.
attain
Tat,
tat
that.
that
Shrinu,
know
listen.
listen.
Translation. By following his qualities of work,
By following his qualities of work,
every man can become perfect.
every man can become perfect.
Now please hear from me
Now please hear from me
how this can be done.
how it can be done.
Prabhupada does not write a purport to this shloka also, but we will read some commentaries from another parampara and also from His Grace Chaitanya Saran Prabhu. Swadharma is the prescribed duties based upon our gunas and station in life. Performing them ensures that we use the potential abilities of our body and mind in a constructive and beneficial manner. This leads to purification and growth and is auspicious for the self and society. And since the prescribed duties are in accordance with our innate qualities, we feel comfortable and stable in discharging them. So ultimately, Swadharma means what comes naturally to you. The qualities that you have should determine also the kind of work that you do. So you should not go against the grain, as it is said in the English language, which is you should not go against the natural flow of your qualities. Then as we enhance our competence, the Swadharma also changes and we step into the next higher class. So that means there is a progression that is possible from one class to the other, but you have to develop those qualities and the competence. In this manner, we keep advancing by dutifully executing our responsibilities. Now, after discussing about all these varnas, let us discuss how it can be spiritualized. The implication of this verse is very significant. Varnashram can be of different types. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur have explained this. There is Vedic Varnashram, which is by nature, and there is Asuri Varnashram, which is by body or by birth. And there is Daivi Varnashram. Daivi Varnashram says we have to serve Krishna in whatever varna and ashram we are in, and from that we get liberated from that varna itself. So the elevation of varna to the Brahmana stage is not required. You just need to become a devotee of the Lord. Every man can become perfect through spirituality. So Vedic Varnashram was based on birth, but in general in the past, the birth would be more or less compatible with the nature, with the Swabhava, because a Brahmana and Brahmini parent will attract a Brahmana inclined soul only as their child. But in past, there are various references that even from a parent of one Varna, the child born is of different Varna or nature. So he will do different work. Example, there is a story of Satyakama Jabali, whose son had gone to take lessons from Gautama Rishi. When the Rishi asked him about his father, he in turn asked his mother, and mother said, I was a maidservant and I don't know who's your father. So the child went and told the same thing to Gautama Rishi, and he said, "Oh, you are a Brahmana because you have truthfulness as a quality in you." So quality is prevalent in determining the Varna of a child. So imagine if you are honest, even though the Rishi could have rejected you if you said anything else, right? If the Rishi found out that you were lying, then certainly you are not qualified to become his disciple. So even though he really did not know who his father was or what Varna he would come from, this Satyakama was honest when the Rishi asked him about his lineage. And because he was honest and he didn't take advantage by being dishonest and telling him, yeah, he was a Brahmana. So Gautama Rishi appreciated that. So the quality is prevalent in determining the Varna of a child. What is prevailing in India for a good number of years is Asuri Varnashram. The characteristics of Asura is they delight at the bodily level. All their pleasures are at a bodily level. So the spiritual institution of Varnashram, they reduced at bodily level and said, one's body will determine one's Varna. And the higher caste took power and privilege, and instead of cooperating for the social body, exploit the lower caste for their own selfish purposes. And this is taken off in a very ugly shape. So essentially the corruption and misuse of the class system and made it into a caste system is one of the main reasons that we are experiencing so many issues in our own society. One of the major reasons for spreading Jainism and Buddhism is they offered an escape way for the lower castes from the clutches of the higher caste. So even conversions to Christianity and Islam happened fundamentally because of this casteism in our society. And of course, current political situation in India based on caste and quota allocations. So of course, if the lower caste supposedly gets many quotas and benefits, then you should not be surprised that they will convert if they want to take advantage materially of what the government has to offer. So this history of exploitation is not because what is meant in Vedic culture, but because of degradation of Vedic culture. Daivi Varnashram is of the idea that everybody is meant to serve Krishna, but according to one's nature, one can serve Krishna. So normally in Vedic Varnashram, the progress is linear. That a Shudra, after progressing, will become a Vaishya, then a Kshatriya, then a Brahmana, and then become liberated. It doesn't mean it is all happening in one life, okay? This means that it could happen over several lifetimes. So you slowly progress from one Varna to the other, but this is the Vedic Varnashrama process, that you can gradually move to the higher Varna over several births and then ultimately get liberation. But the uniqueness of Daivi Varnashram is anybody can get liberated simply by keeping Krishna as the focal point of everything that they do in their life. Yeah? To prioritize Krishna and Krishna consciousness. But in Daivi Varnashram, the progression is not linear, but it is vertical. That is, whatever the Varna a person is in, if that person devotes himself to Krishna, he can attain liberation directly from that Varna. So Krishna is talking here about Daivi Varnashram. Sve sve karmanya bhiradha. By doing one's activity, one can become liberated. One more commentary and then we'll conclude. Varnashrama actually uses the false ego in the service of the true ego. In general parlance, the word ego often refers to arrogance. But in Gita wisdom, it frequently refers to our sense of self-identification of I am. False ego refers to our self-identification with that which we are not, our material body, and its many related designations. True ego refers to our self-identification with what we actually are, which is we are eternal souls and parts and parcel of Krishna. Gita wisdom helps us to philosophically understand the difference between our true ego and our false ego. Still, even if we intellectually comprehend this difference, we cannot wish away our false ego. We have to live with it lifelong as we strive to realize our true ego. So theoretically, we may understand that we are spirit soul and that we are all servants of Krishna. But in reality, we struggle with practicing this understanding in our personal life because the false ego is still very much attached to many, many different kinds of relationships. Even after we take up a spiritual path for realizing our true ego, whatever psychophysical nature we have, based on the orientation of our false ego, still stays with us. Significantly, the Bhagavad Gita assures that we can attain perfection while working according to our nature. To this end, Gita wisdom offers the socio-cultural arrangement of Varnashram for using our false ego in realizing our true ego. That is, it enables us to direct our bodily nature in a way that is harmonious for activating our spiritual nature. Our spiritual nature is to love and serve Krishna. And we can begin to act according to that nature by practicing Bhakti Yoga in the here and now. So how does your false ego get relieved of these material designations? You begin that process by practicing Bhakti Yoga. Practicing Bhakti Yoga includes not just doing directly devotional activities, but also infusing all our activities with a mood of devotion. Thus, for example, if we have a Brahmanical nature, the Gita asks us not to give up the corresponding moral, intellectual inclinations, but to use them in a devotional mood. It's not just, it is not that if you're a Brahmana, you have to give up Brahmanism and just only practice Krishna consciousness. You use your Brahmanical nature and dovetail it in devotional service. The same thing would apply if you're a businessman. You use that nature that comes naturally to you to serve Krishna. You don't have to, pretend to be a Brahmana. When we harmonize our material nature, we make our pursuit of self-realization easier and swifter. For we relish dharmic material satisfaction while we pursue lasting spiritual fulfillment. So the beauty about practicing Bhakti Yoga is that you are not only being benefited spiritually, but you will also benefit materially. So there's no need to practice other kind of yajna, dana, and tapa that does not please Krishna. There's no need to practice yajna, dana, and tapa for the pleasure of the demigods, for the pleasure of yourself, for the pleasure of other jivatmas. You can straight away do all three, but for the pleasure of Krishna. And then automatically you will get the material benefits as much as you will get the spiritual benefits. So in this particular shloka, Krishna is saying, whatever qualities come naturally to you, you do your work as per the quality that is there within you. You can also achieve perfection. And then, of course, the Lord is going to say how we can achieve that perfection, which will come in the next 3 shlokas.
If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell notification. If you'd like to join our classes every day, please check the details in the description section of this video. We look forward to serving you.